Ladies and gentlemen, Paul MacFarlane is about to come on and bring the transformation, the heat, the quantum leap that you've been seeking and searching for. Before that, let's talk about the 21-day challenge. If you are an entrepreneur, high achiever, you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, lost, or you just know there is another gear inside of you, 21-day challenge is here to reignite you, your passion, your self-belief, so you succeed like never before. We'll get crystal clear on your long-term goals, break them down into bite-sized steps, and hold you accountable for 21 days one-on-one accountability to break through your BS and succeed like never before. If you want to find out more, send me a message, chris@beyourgps.com, or find me on Facebook and let me know you're interested in the 21-day challenge. Looking forward to working with you. Next up is the iTunes review of the week, and this week, the iTunes review of the week is by Miss Letran, and Miss Letran says, great info, great energy. Thanks, Chris, for sharing vital info on how to improve your mindset and bring your A game out. Thanks so much, Miss Letran. If you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes store and give us a review. Thanks so much in advance. Now, I'm going to be introducing Mr. Paul MacFarlane onto the show. Before that, though, just know this human being, professional human being, is changing the world, specifically my world. He is absolutely incredible. He's brilliant. He's creative. He's a genius. He's tapped into his spirituality. He's an amazing human being, amazing lover. So I've heard. I have no personal experience with that. But he's an all-around amazing guy, and he also helps businesses break through, creates amazing marketing and sales and advertising campaigns and just really, really cool stuff. So stay tuned, because today we're going to be talking about how to quantum leap to your next level of success and association. And we've been having some great conversations about this lately, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's introduce him and then bring him on. Paul MacFarlane, President, founder, and professional human being of the 1101 Experiment. Paul is a business and brand strategist with Global Fortune 500 experience. He's a writer, designer, producer, director, public speaker, trainer, motivational, inspirational expert, screenplay, writer, musician, and more. But it all comes from one place: Paul's desire to bring universal love, oneness, and success to businesses and individuals, to do good and help people realize their greatest potential. Love, peace, and understanding in everything Paul MacFarlane does. But business and brand strategist will do for today. Paul, are you ready to rock the house?
I've been rocking the house. Where have you been?
Rocking it with you, baby. You're now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Welcome to the show. It is great to have you back again every time, just delivering huge, huge mountains of gold and wisdom and empowerment.
So what would you like to talk about today?
Oh, my goodness. Well, first off, we're going to talk about wonder and possibility, Paul.
All right,
specifically, what was that? Time.
Remember, this is our future. That's our past. We don't know how much of this we get, so I'm going to make this count.
Yes, we are. That's gold. So, wonder and possibility, Paul. What do those mean to you? How have they impacted your life?
Wonder and possibility. The wonder of possibility, or the possibility of wonder. Well, wonder. In the Tom Hanks movie was a band, the Oneaters. No, we're the Wonders. But to wonder is to think, I wonder what, or to be filled with wonder is to have your mind blown. We say there's childlike wonder because, kids don't know anything yet. And so everything that we take for granted could be wondrous to them, right? To see a rainbow for the first time, to fly in a jet airplane for the first time, to experience new life or snow or something can be wonder. So wonder itself must have something highly disruptive in it. This is what I think is, and suddenly, wow. See, wow and wonder have the same kind of so wonder. And again, in the Western civilization, we tend to say wonder is childlike. Right? May as well go into what is childlike. Freshness, innocence, play, possibilities, right?
Yeah.
All right. And potential, possibilities. How deep is the ocean? How long is a piece of string? What is potential? There is no potential outside of what we believe there is.
Right.
How long can you live? I don't know. How long do I think I can live? How good can this call be? It's what you believe, what I believe. And in that space between us is a third energy, which makes it wonderful.
The mastermind.
Yeah. So those are the two words. That's what they mean to me.
Yeah. It's powerful. I'm curious about the disruptive. When a child is in wonder, you hear about the childlike wonder. Is it disruptive that they're constantly in wonder of their world? Is that disruptive, would you say?
Well, could you feel happy in a life where you were constantly disrupted? How much disruption can you handle?
It's an interesting question.
A lot of people throw that effing word around, but it's like everybody wants change, but nobody wants to change.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it this way. But my favorite term, for the clean slate, the tabula rasa, the clean slate, no mark upon it. We're immediately imprinted. Most of the people watching this, I imagine, were born in a situation when they were taken or escorted or welcomed out of the mother's body,
Right.
saw someone. Maybe a doctor, maybe a doula, maybe a midwife, maybe the mother, and then the family or whoever's around there in masks, or take them off. And the imprinting immediately begins. It's like, welcome to life. These are the people who will protect you and love you. So don't piss them off. Really. I just cut the first, formative years down to one sentence, but that's kind of what happens. So we're imprinted pretty quickly. Is the first free breath a disruption to the amniotic fluid and the umbilical cord? Yeah. Turn upside down, smack it, make it breathe so it doesn't choke. And then the next breath, does the baby say, another one? How quickly does a baby take breath for granted? We all do. How soon did it happen? Why? If distracted by too much stimuli? People, they're speaking this language I don't understand. They're all reaching for me. What are those things? Oh, I've got them too. Too much. The brain probably sprouts more brain cells in the first 30 seconds than maybe we do in our whole life. The sudden rush of stimuli, I don't remember mine that clearly, so it's got to be overwhelming. So most people, I think if you take the world and split people into two, and I don't believe in splitting people, but there are those who take their joy from comfort and familiarity. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. We always watch this movie, and they always come over at 2:00. We always serve this, and they like that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate it. I don't want any of that. I'll tolerate it to a certain extent, but then eventually I have to get out of the house and go outside and see something unexpected in a tree, if they have one. And there are people who get their joy from it. And I used to think that they were wrong. No, they're not wrong. They're just different. And then there are those of us who value adventure. And this is the critical part of it, are willing to suffer in the name of adventure.
Wow.
Disruption is where? On the adventure side. People over here don't want to be disrupted. That's okay. And maybe, I'm not saying disruption is the God and the be all and end all, but it seems to be one of those words going around unnecessarily much. But potential. And, you're talking about the quantum leap, right? We're said that everything is a stair step and permission based. You do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. Right. You can climb your way up a mountain, or a giant pack of eagles could pick you up and carry you to the top. Maybe you don't believe that'll happen, but it's possible.
Yeah.
California condor's wingspan is what, 9 feet?
Damn. And you said being willing to suffer in the name of adventure. That's brought to mind Tony Robbins' 6 human needs. There's the need for uncertainty, which could be linked to adventure, and the need for certainty, and uncertainty also disruption. And I think children are more like that uncertainty, the disruption, the adventure. It's like more important to them. It's more of a value to them, and we're conditioned into conformity. A lot of people are. Society.
It's our nature. A child will reach for the flame. It will reach for, because it wants to know.
Right.
We are born risk takers. But it gets beaten out of us at a certain time when, a fearful parent, in the name of love, says, no, don't, bad, ooh, bad, don't touch, bad. Slap the hand. Introduce a little physical violence and pain to associate with something we don't want. We were born risk takers, and it is literally beaten out of many of us.
Wow. How do we cultivate that back inside of us?
Well, it's like truth, right? Truth is the center of town, and there's a lot of ways to get there. But when you get there, you're there, right? So one way, maybe, childlike wonder and play, to recultivate play. Not an immaturity necessarily, but an innocence. See, people think immaturity and innocence and childlike are all in one kind of negative thing, right? I was talking with my wonderful partner Jonas in Sweden earlier about this very thing, about something we're working on, a new business pitch actually. And what we're doing is we're kind of going to show this prospect how in most businesses, like marketing communications people, you'll have a meeting and pretty quickly something is introduced and says, this is our problem. We need to grow sales. We need to get more followers. We have to we're losing business. And immediately you rush to the solution. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do this. Wait a minute. This problem, what is it really? What is this problem really? It's a problem to who? And you. It's a problem to you. How do you feel about this problem? And do we want to solve the problem? Like, you know what solving a problem is? Chris, have you had a meal today?
Yes.
Did you solve that problem?
Yes.
Then you don't need to eat ever again, right? You've solved the problem of hunger.
Forever, no. Temporarily, yes.
Yeah. So in other words, I call that solving a problem. And the consultant wants to solve a problem just long enough that they have to go back and do it again. But if you resolve a problem, you get a total understanding of the problem intellectually. And if you dissolve a problem, you make it go away. Like, do we want cancer to dissolve? No, it's too profitable. So we'll just keep miniature solving it, But if we actually dissolve the problem of cancer, if we dissolve the problem of hunger, could you imagine what would happen to the human race if we found a way to not need food and we can live on air and water? Do you realize how many people would be out of work?
Holy moly.
And all those crop fields could be turned into, what, golf courses? I don't know. These are fundamental questions, but the rediscovering that sense of adventure, if you want it, and anyone who's watching this who might be an entrepreneur of any kind, anyone who's involved in the gig economy, if you're not a born adventurer, it doesn't mean you can't do it. But if you are an adventurer and you think you've lost it, hang out with little kids, play with little kids, or watch videos of little kids just being little kids. I don't mean movies about little kids. I mean real little kids, and see how they explore and play on their own. Put them in an environment and just see how they touch, and they might put things in their mouth, at a certain age. And then they get to, in other words, they pick things up in their hands and they see what is it, and they take it apart and they wonder, it's might be one way, to kind of get yourself in the world of childlike discovery. Study the lives of explorers, and cultivate them as archetypes, maybe, because the people who are archetypally explorers are a very particular kind of person. They only look in one direction. They go out and they find, and sometimes they come back and say, look what I have found. You know, that's one way. How else would you get that kind of wonder, childlike wonder of exploring? Hang out with friends who are that way. Watch and listen to people who can cultivate that. You see, again, what I was talking about with Jonas earlier is play doesn't necessarily have to be childish. You can have thoughtful, mature play. Yeah. You can just think in your mind playfully, alone. You can look out a window and see a tree in a playful manner. You can see in a playful manner. You can write in a playful manner. You can look at a problem in a playful manner and play with the problem for a while, you know, instead of trying to wrestle it to the ground and break it and kill it and stab it and, you know, play with it, you know. If you have an issue in your life, you can bring a state of play to it, a sense of play to it, but resist thinking you have to be a little kid and think, when did that end? You know, we play and we explore, we have possibilities. Even at university, where there's an edifice and there's a campus and tall towers, and at the raw edges of it, there's play, frisbees and, you know, and pickup games and all the different things people do. Right on the edges, it's like it's bursting out of the seams. Yeah. Until you enter the workforce, and you are now no longer there to explore. You are there to deliver someone else's. And that someone is going to be paying you. And if you don't deliver, they won't pay you. And you need the money for this or that. Suddenly you just go bam into that wall of conformity. And unless that employer says, we want you to be relaxed and playful and solve problems and be open and challenge me all the time. And, you know, if you got one of those, you're in the right place, right? But that's where we hit it, when we hit the reality of, you know, people say everyone's a born Democrat until they get a mortgage, then they become a Republican. That's a way of thinking about it, you know. It's like, wow, yeah, the seriousness, you know, of life, the responsibility, the drama of life.
Also, one thing that's worked really well for me is having a conversation with my 6-year-old self. You know, getting back in touch with my own inner child. You know, it's like, what's the best way to do that? Well, it's to talk to that aspect of ourselves. And
How do you do that?
So the best way is, as I've found, is I just close my eyes and just take myself back to seeing my 6-year-old self. And I always feel like 6-year-old Chris is playing in the grass. He's like doing flips and rolling around, picking up mud and, you know, playing with things. And I say, hey, you know, and how's it going? And have like a conversation, have a dialogue. I can say both parts out loud. I can say my adult self out loud and then hear the intuition speak back of my younger.
Wait. Something disturbs me here and I want to know. What would your 6-year-old self say if your current self walked up to it and started a conversation like that?
It would say, if I asked, what's up? What are you doing? He'd say, I'm playing, because he knows I'm like the brother. I'm the him, you know. I'm playing.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm playing in the mud, in the grass. Want to play? And I would say, yeah, let's do it. And so I'd get down on my knees and like play with him and, you know, have fun.
And then whisper in his ear, next year, don't do that.
Right. Yeah. They'll.
Well, you see, that's interesting because that's intellectual kind of connection to it.
Yeah.
Other things, like every Christmas, there's some ornaments that I put on my little tree that are older than I am. Mm-hmm. And there's a little pillow, a little Santa Claus pillow that I had. There's a picture of me over there with it when I'm like 3 years old. Mm-hmm. And it still exists. And I hold it and I realize I've held that with much smaller hands. Mm. And I can use that almost like a talisman, you know, to kind of touch something.
To anchor.
Listen to music. Like an exercise I give people sometimes is, if you want to learn self-love, and you're in a hurry. You find the song that you listened to when you had your first awful and painful crush in life. If there was some pop song that was like, oh, that's the song about, well, you play that song loud and sing it, not really loud, to yourself in the mirror. You know, I can listen to songs from when I was 6, 7 years old and think what my relationship was to him then, and my first crush songs and my, you know, current crush songs or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like time travel. What you were talking about, time travel. That's a good way to do it. And there's a lot of ways, whether you're a kinesthetic learner, a visual learner, auditory learner, you know, you can go into it that way and play.
Yeah. Yeah. You could also write a letter, you know, communicate through writing a letter. You could speak it, but there's all kinds of different ways. And another thing I wanted to say is, like, we can also have this dialogue, and I would say this is a wondrous element. We can have a dialogue with parts of us to be able to activate those parts, you know? So it's like adventurer Chris, you know, close my eyes, get centered, do some breathing meditation. Adventurer Chris, how would you come alive? You know, if you could do anything today, like, what would be your adventure? What would be your excitement? Or if I say, you know, adult Chris or responsible Chris, you know, how would you approach the day? How would you get these things, life, back into order? If I've been playing, you know, playing hooky, procrastinating, different stuff like that, I can talk to these different aspects of myself to bring them back into alignment and hear their truth so that I can grow in an area that's important to me.
You know, Chris, you interview.
Yeah.
You're interviewing me. I'm interviewing you, right? You're interviewing yourself. Have you always been an interviewer?
I've always been curious. So,
but an interview, what you were just doing there, where you're interviewing yourself. Have you always been an interviewer? When did you become an interviewer? And what do you think you get by interviewing?
That's a great question. When did I become an interviewer? So, I believe interviewing is the process of discovering information, uncovering information. And I have always been a self-sourcing interviewer, so to speak, in finding the information since I could access the internet. Whenever I needed to find information, whenever I wanted to go online, find out how to build a computer, how to, you know, find the cheat codes, find the strategy guide for a game, whatever it is, like, I would go out and look for the information. So for me, interviewing people is simply, hey, what's the goal to have the best life ever? What's the goal that you know, that you've mined, that you've accumulated up to this point, and how can we uncover that together and celebrate that? So I'd say,
like, what are the cheat codes to success?
Yep.
Right? I think cheat codes. When you first found a cheat code, did you think, what the hell? Or did you think, eureka?
I'm trying to remember the very first game that I would have done that for.
Were those cheat codes something that someone who hacked and cracked the game open found, or something that the company itself put out there?
The company itself put out there. Yeah. Yeah. They created it with an intention of, hey, whoever has this inside information will get access to cooler stuff, faster, better, whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting to see calling it a cheat code because of the age, you know, like cheating on a test, you know, cheating, you know, it's interesting. Cheat codes. Everyone wants the quantum leap is like a cheat code.
Yes.
An existential cheat code is a quantum leap. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's fun to play with it anyway. See, quantum leaps, if I may kind of lead us into that space. Yeah. It's that, again, that idea that there's time and space. In fact, I'm about to say something really, really important. So I want everyone to pay attention. If you're working on an idea, something you really, really want, and you sense it scares you at all, it is so critical to your success, while you're talking about it with someone else, to take two things out of the conversation. Time and money. Because if you're saying, oh, I want to launch this business idea, and then someone says, well, that's going to take a long time, we don't have the money, send them out of the room. Take time and money out of it because that pollutes it. You have to give your baby all the love you can. And when you're exhausted from that, then apply time and money if you want. But don't let anyone or yourself bring time or money into something. And why do I say that? Because the quantum leap disrupts time. It disrupts our sense of time that, well, it takes 4 years to get a degree. Oh, okay. And you have to be in business 10 years to be called a senior. Oh, well, before you can talk to that person, you're going to have to do this first, and it's going to take you this much time. That maybe, or the best question to ask anyone who says anything like that is, how do you know? If you tell me the 3 things I should do to improve my personal relationships, my best question back to you is, okay, how do you know? Right. How do you know that there's only 3 and it's those 3? You know, someone says, this is what's happening on our southern border. How do you know? How do you know? Well, it's everyone saying, okay, then, all right, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? A quantum leap means, if you've studied anything of quantum theory, quantum physics, like quantum data, you know what quantum data is, right?
It can be in between a 0 and a 1.
Yeah, but practically everything that, even blockchain, blockchain is still binary. It's ones and zeros, which means on and off. It's a pulse or a not pulse, right? And if you were kids, stood on the wall, went with the lights, you know, and so stop that, you know, you enjoy making your own lightning flashes.
Yep.
Well, that's what binary is. It's an on or off, open and closed, you know. Well, quantum means anything. Yeah. That means on a bit of information. Yeah. And what is a bit? Anything. You could put 23.5-hour movies and pass that bit of information to you, and you've got 3-hour movies. See, time. Oh, well, let's see, numbers. Well, that's how many gigabytes, and the bandwidth is this, and so you have to send it like that. That'll take 3 weeks, man. You know, because we're going to Burundi. Well, quantum says no. Put it on a bit, and it'll be there instantly. Yeah, it's like, you know about fiber optic.
Yep.
Do you know the physicality of what fiber optic requires?
It's light, right? It's just like how fast light can travel versus
exactly
transmitting.
And light travels really good in a straight line.
Yeah.
Light has trouble going around a corner. So if you have a fiber optic cable and you put a curve in it, it slows down. If you put a bend in it, it almost stops. And theoretically, if you could have a straight line fiber optic cable going around the world, you could send a 5 gigabyte movie file around the world in a few seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. See, I said that to you, and I just blew your mind with wow. And it's like, and you realize that's the problem with technology. As soon as everyone has that capability, in 3 days, it'll be, We just get so used to amazing things so quickly, and that's okay. I know we do. But a quantum leap in change in your business, in your life, means that you believe in the possibility and the potential of a quantum change. In other words, can you see something that you don't believe?
Can you see it?
You see something if you don't believe it.
Exactly. So it will pass through your visual field, but you won't register it as the identifier of name blue dot or name red Porsche.
So what's the expression? Believe it when I see it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah.
I'll see it when I believe it. So quantum is definitely, I'll believe it when I see it. So if you understand what quantum means, then if you believe it's possible that, it's like the rules of separation. That's a great game to play for entrepreneurs. You know, you go around the table and pick someone out, like Pope Francis. Okay. Chris, how many people away do you think you are from Pope Francis?
4.
I think I'm 3. But isn't that fun? Now, how difficult will it be to reach the first person? Well, difficult. It's a connection, not so tough. Now, those next connection may be huge,
right?
But they're possible, and that's a game. Now you start thinking quantum. It's like, how many points away are you from, anybody? A famous person is always cool. Like if you wanted to hold a gold bar in your hand, how many people away are you from that? Oh, that's good. How many people away are you from being able to hold a gold bar in your hand?
Probably me, someone else, gold bar. Me, someone else, and then someone else with gold bar. So, yeah.
Oh, because you think you know someone who has a gold bar?
Yeah, I know someone who knows someone who has a gold bar. Yeah.
Just one?
Many, probably.
Oh, okay. See, this is fun. See, these feel kind of quantum, because if you didn't think of it that way, and I told you, go find a gold bar, you'd have to think, where would I have to travel? How many steps would it take to drive before it knocks, and say, could I please just hold one? And see if the front desk person will let you in just to hold one. I'll go. You know?
Yeah.
And that's different. Quantum means I know someone, boom, boom, boom. And in this day where I can send an email, a text, or a thought, or a phone call, or whatever, it can be instantaneous. So quantum changes can happen that way. For instance, anyone who's on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a very effed up platform. It is awful. I wish they would blow it up and start over. It sucks. Microsoft ruins everything. And if anyone from Microsoft is listening to this, you can reach me and we can have a chat about it. But on LinkedIn, there's someone you want to connect with. Some people have it set where you cannot connect with them. Not because they've reached their maximum, because they don't want connections, but you can follow them. And some people, they have the thing where you have to know my email address. Yeah. Which means you either have to know me or you have to be pretty good at finding me and doing enough research to want it, right? Yep. Well, you can make quantum leaps in a connection, because if someone has the ability for you to connect with them, you can do the thing that some people do. You make a connection on LinkedIn and then pitch them something right away. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But the connection you make, if you want a connection instantaneously or you want them to pay you money instantaneously, that's a little different. But quantum means you can believe and understand what quantum means, that it takes our binary world of yes and no. Hey, will you go out with me tonight? Yes, no. Hey, will you sleep with me tonight? Yes, no. Interesting. Will you go out with me tonight? A quantum answer would be, who knows? Anything's possible. Wow. I still want my yes or no, though, see. But it's still a quantum answer. And if someone would answer something like that, that would be really fun. So quantum is certainly possible, and people in a hurry want something in a hurry. But actually, people who just believe in an expansive life and want to go from where they are to where they want to be in the now, there's ways to do it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about, because you and I were talking about me getting an association with someone who who's inspiring to me and who I want to be on his inner circle, right?
And he doesn't know who you are.
He doesn't know who I am yet.
Well, actually, you don't know if he has not heard of you.
That's true.
It's possible. He could have seen something of you. You don't know that. You don't know. But you know for sure you're not buddies.
Right. So my creation is that I get into his inner circle. And so you and I were talking about, hey, well, what does it really take to do that? And you told me, first of all, you better know this guy better than he knows himself. Tell us a little bit more about that philosophy and how to actually achieve that when building connections and with high-level association.
Obsession. It's about the old word, an obsession. If you look up a dictionary definition of obsession, it's kind of frightening. But please don't. There are positive obsessions. Yes. Now the one is obsessive about quality or about good cooking, or about fine wine or fitness, or you can go too far. In other words, if they're obsessive or it's too much for you, see, if you're obsessive about something, it's fine. Someone else may find that excessive. Yeah. See? I'm obsessive about everything I'm into. People, bands, businesses, type fonts, colors, places, everything. I'm obsessive. And that's fine for me. But if someone wants to be in my space, it may be too much for them. I understand that. And if I find someone where most of that is fine for them, well, they've got me. So you got to start with a sense of embracing obsession. Because if you were trying to reach someone that you believe is up here or up there, you're going to need to impress them. chances are you're not going to be able to impress them that you've got more money than they do, or a faster car, nicer, or whatever. You're going to have to impress them with something intangible. Intangible. And the good thing is, when you're obsessive about getting to know them, it doesn't cost you anything but time. Speaking of two things we shouldn't bring into the discussion, right? So let's imagine there's someone watching this really would like to be friends with, like you do. Like I certainly have those. We've got this thing we've already talked about called the internet, which is really awesome for doing research, but you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And if it's an obsession, a loving obsession, it won't feel like work. You'll read their books. People won't be able to get you out partying anymore because you're reading books. You're obsessive. And that means people won't see much of you because you're in your zone, right?
Yeah.
And when you do that and you study and study and study, a couple things might happen. You might find out something about them that's kind of turns you off and weakens your desire for all that, and pay attention to that, and maybe go farther and find out what it is, or choose somebody else, or it'll get hotter. It'll get hotter. Like when you find someone you want, and the more you find out about them, the more you want them. Wow, that's awesome. So you just do that research, and you try to be holistic about it. In other words, you find their life story. Growing up, if they have a wiki page, that's kind of nice. But even then, check all the references. Find out when they express things that they want. The questions that they ask about business or about life or themselves, the things they wonder about, the things they're curious about. Some people in interviews will say like the books that they're reading, and that's interesting. That shows their interest or what they don't think they know enough about yet, So be hungry and devour everything you can about a subject, a company, a person. In fact, here's practical. I get people who want to do business with me. And if they give the pitch that says, hey, we'd like to work with you, and this is what we do.
Right.
If they send something that says, well, I really like your company, we'd like to work with you. If they say, I've studied your site, I see you worked on this and on this, I'd like to work with you. But if they say, and they've demonstrated that they know me, because they found on archive.org my old ad agency diary. Now I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And that's like I'm your only fan, the biggest fan kind of thing. But even though the company, if they really understand, and my website, I've got a section there that's short, and then a section I say for readers. And if you're a reader and you actually read all that stuff, you'll know this business of mine really well. And if someone can demonstrate that in their first approach, they've vaulted over 3 barriers and walls that I have to get into my inner circle. Immediately, depending on what they have. Because if they're asking for help, I'll give guidance to anyone. I'll let someone interview me, or I'll answer questions for them. If they're selling a service, I can tell them if their brand is okay, whether there's immediate potential, eventual potential, lack of potential, or no potential. I'll be as true as I can. But even when I say there's no potential, I'll always answer at the end with, but you never know. So that's the first thing. Be obsessive and put in the work. And if you put in obsessive work and it doesn't feel like work, then you know it's right. If it feels like pure love, it's like, damn, I forgot to eat. What time is it? Wow, I should be in bed, but I'm in the zone. Then you know. And if the guy you're talking about, if you can do it like that, then you know. And if that person isn't it, I don't know. You got to first put in the work. And once you do that, you should have some kind of an insight at that point. You may have some insight about what you can do for that company or for that person, why you believe you can be a special person in their circle. And that insight has got to be something true about you. And that's where you got to fashion that into such a focused laser But I'm going to tell him everything. I'm going to tell him everything because I'm so special and he needs to know all this. No, you don't. It's a laser. The first breadcrumb. Leave a trail of breadcrumbs. We learned about things in a molecular fashion. An element, and then we attach another element, another element, another element, and some are bigger and closer, some are further here, and they can branch off. We learn molecularly. So let someone learn about you molecularly, but make sure the very first molecule, the element, the first breadcrumb is like, holy crap, this person knows me better than I do. Wow. That's a good first crumb.
What's a typical, I guess this is probably hard to say, but what's a typical...
Are we still sponsored by water today?
We're definitely still sponsored by water. Absolutely. Delish. What's a typical... I don't like the word typical, but...
It's okay. We're just talking. It's okay.
Yeah. Optimal piece of information to focus on, to convey, to share that most has the wow effect. Is it something about their childhood that usually would blow someone away? Is it something about their why that would blow them away?
Well, I'm saying, I see what you're getting at. Is there the one thing?
Right.
No. It is usually all one thing, but you never know what that one thing is. Yeah. You got to be careful. You go into someone's childhood and you say, hey, I sense when you were a childhood, your mother didn't love you, so I think I could wait a minute. Because the Wikipedia page may not talk about how much therapy they've done and growth, right? You don't know. But it's going to be something, you can call it a pain point, something that even the most rapacious billionaire is always hungry for more. And that very desire for more is something you might be able to play into. As long as the direction they're looking in for more, you can appear there with something that they want. If you can't figure out that you've got something that they want, it's rare that you'll break through. So you have to be honest with yourself and maybe ask the people who know you in your world the best to mirror back to you. Do you have that thing that you say that person wants? Mastermind it, That's why, in a mastermind, when you get 3, 4, 5 or more people all focusing on that one person's goals fully, everyone bringing what they can to the table, their connections, their guide, their financial help, their creative help, their bureaucratic help, all aimed at trying to help you reach your goal. That's two things. It's to help you reach your goal, but also to be a friend and call you out on your own shit, and say, look, this is what you say you want. No, we see you this way, and try to help you get what you want that way. That's the best way. Doing it on your own can be done, but it goes faster and it's more fun if you have a mastermind helping you do it. Yeah. I don't know. Do you know of any good masterminds that you can
ours?
Yeah.
Rocks.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to find out more, send me a message.
That's what we do in our Monday evening mastermind. And this is a newer thing that I've been pushing for since the beginning, where we actually take half of our meeting and one person's goal, we all focus and try to serve. And what I've determined is that we stay on that person until there's enthusiastic momentum going forward and clarity, and then they're on their way and you work it out in committee. But it's great when you can have, what's that spiritual thing? When any two are gathered in my name. And I said at the beginning of the call, there's your enthusiasm, my intensity, and then the space in between, that third energy. Then you get a third person or fourth person all pointing the same way. It's powerful. It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like...
And that's where quantum leaps can happen, because you get enough energy behind that brilliant leap from A to 75 can be done.
Yeah, and it's when those masterminds are formed, when there's two brains that come together, two minds, two people or more in a spirit of harmony and focused direction, and it's not 1 + 1, it's a multiplication effect of what's produced because of that harmony.
Yeah, and the ideal, the optimal way that happens is when the people have nothing but goodwill and love for each other, and everyone's operating on their highest plane of energy, And then you, as the person who has the goal, you can inject a certain amount of quantum boldness to it.
I like that.
Because that's electric. In other words, like, say this person you're going to meet, if we were talking Monday night about this and you said, I've made a decision. I've got a friend who's got a jet plane. I told about it. And he said, anytime, if he's available, he'll fly me directly to anywhere in the country for free. That's and awesome. Back. So I could arrive via jet. Wow. We'd be like, yeah, okay, now we know that. You see? There's a little secret sauce into it, and the flame gets hotter and things cook faster. And but sometimes it's news like that, or it's a decision. I made a decision. This is the person, and I'm going to walk away from my business. And if this person says yes, my life is going to change. See, obsession.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's continuing
it's the heat that comes from focus.
Yeah, it's the energy. It's the invested energy and intention and focus that blossoms the seed of desire, the seed of obsession, the seed of possibility and wonder when that person or that outcome is fulfilled.
But let's give more emphasis and heat to focus, because we've used this, I know, a lot. Right. You know, if it's a sunny day and you take your shirt off and you walk out in the sun, in time, you can get pink or red. Well, if I'm out there with you and I have a magnifying glass, I can burn a hole through you in seconds. Because I've taken the power of the sun and I focus it to a needle point.
Right.
And I'm saying this for myself, for you, Chris, and anyone watching this live on the replay. The scariest thing with your business is to focus it down to one thing.
Yeah.
It's scary. But I do this and this and this, and I'm special, I'm different. Fuck off. No, you got to focus it down to one narrow thing and trust that there's enough business, enough people who will support you for that one thing. That's where market research is important, to make sure that one thing you focus down to is something that's needed and it solves a universal problem that people want. But you focus it down, and that heat means it burns and it penetrates and it focuses, and it's brighter and hotter than you can do if it's not focused.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are afraid to do that one thing, to just go all in.
And why? Come on. Why are people afraid of doing that? Why?
Because they have fear of missing out, fear of like, if they make the wrong decision, they're hesitant, that they don't trust themselves. Like they're going to make the wrong decision.
Trust themselves. They don't trust their own instinct. They don't trust their own heart. When the heart says, I really, 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 really want to be an opera singer, even in the chorus. That's what I got to do. Take time and money out of it. You'll want it, right? If you don't trust that, someone might tell you don't have a voice. That's one thing. You may want to. So you may want to work in the opera theater doing something, right? But it's that thing that your powerful little boom, 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 boom voice. This is what I want. This is what I want. You got to trust it. And if you get people who will support you in that, then go for it and focus it, and you can make a quantum leap. It's that childlike wonder of a discovery. When you were a kid, the thing that you loved to do the most, I still do.
Yeah. Powerful, Paul.
We're just shooting the shit here.
I love it.
I had no idea what this was about today, because I saw you posted. It's like, whatever, we'll talk.
It'll be great.
Anything.
It'll be great. Okay, so recapping, people need an obsession. They need laser focus on one thing to be able to do that quantum leap, to be able to cut through the noise, to be able to have the universe conspire in their benefit, in their favor, to where they want to go.
They have to understand and believe in quantum power. You can't make a quantum leap if you don't believe it's possible. You got to believe it's possible for somebody. Find a success story of a quantum leap someone made and believe that it's possible for one. If they can do it, you can do it. That's the most important thing. A successful person can say to their followers, if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. And then once you believe it, focus, all your obsessive love for that thing. And that's what you feel like, obsessive love. Learn, study all you can, find what makes you the one person who can solve that one problem in that space. and then talk to someone like me how to do it.
That's right. That's right. You're brilliant, Paul. You seriously are. Everyone, I second that motion. Talk to Paul. He's a genius. And
Chris, we already teased masterminds. If you want to join the mastermind, if you would like to start a mastermind of people to help solve a major problem for you, Chris Burns, this guy, let him help you organize it. Let him run it. He knows what he's doing.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. And let's talk about actually being our greatest possible selves. What's your definition of greatest possible self, Paul?
It's a quest. I'll never know it. It's just I know it can be better, and I know it can be better, and I know it can be better, and I know it can be better. If you think you're great, you've probably lost anything that made you great in the first place. Good enough is not enough. It's that obsessive. I'm an obsessive guy. An obsessive quest towards, Earl Nightingale, definition of success. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The progressive realization. So it's always going forward. It's a quest and it doesn't have an end. Realization, it's tangible, it's happening. You've got it in your hands. You want to make a lot of money? You're making more money all the time. Of a worthy ideal. Highest value of something worth giving your life for. The progressive realization of something worth giving your life for. That is success. See, that's why it's called a progressive realization. It may not need to be money. It could be something else. It could be followers or parishioners or associates or children or, it could be whatever you want more.
Trees planted or replanted.
Oh, bullshit. No one plants a tree. You move a tree. It was a little seedling somewhere. You planted it there. I moved a tree. I relocated a tree. It was perfectly fine where it was, but I want it here. Now, if you're dropping a seed, then you can say you're planting a tree.
Yes.
All ceremonies, they're moving trees.
Reforesting is what I was referring to.
Yeah, purpose-driven tree relocation.
I love it. Paul. Any final parting words for our listeners that that would make the biggest difference for them?
Life is short. And in the time we've been talking, so much of our lives, like grains of sand in the hourglass, these are the days. That's true. It's true. It's going by. And make sure that what you're doing right now you really love, because we're going to die with unrealized plans. And if your plans were to make sure the trash got put out and there's no dust on the windowsill, okay. But if you want to experience life through your senses to the maximum, to see the most beautiful things, to taste the most delicious things, to feel the most beautiful sensations, I hope you do it. I hope you do.
Amen. Ditto. Paul, how do they stay connected with you? What are their next steps, brother?
If they're watching on Facebook, they'll see my name. They can find me on Facebook, and from there, anything can happen. Make a quantum leap to reach me, and I'll help you with a quantumly awesome kick-ass idea that'll take you somewhere you want to go quantum. It's easy. I'm all over the web.
I love it. I love it, Paul. Thank you so much for being here, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you. I'm loving
Say it
you.
slow. 1, 2, 3. I love you.
I am loving you.
And I am loving you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you soon.